What's up YouTube? Today I'm going to be building a gaming PC with no experience and a little bit of knowledge. So step one was finding a budget. I decided to go with 400 to 450 for a modern PC, like a mid-range, not too good, not too bad.
And now that the budget's out the way, next comes part picking.
So first up is the CPU. I decided to go with the Ryzen 7 2700X for the budget build. I talked him down to 50 originally, and I had some AirPods that I thought would be a good trade for them. So I went and asked him if he would trade for those, and he said yeah. So with the CPU out the way, I was looking for some more parts, and I stumbled upon a PC case, the NZXT H5 Flow. He had it listed for 80. I sent him an offer for 40. He counter offered with 50, and I said that's all right.
After that, I noticed that they were in the same city, like 9 minutes away from each other, so I could pick them both up in one day.
So with this case, the dude that I got it from, he did not tell me that the front of it was loose and it falls off because some pins were missing. So I messaged him about that, and he told me that it's been like that and to get magnets or something. I found my own solution. While cleaning it, I also noticed that there was no screws for the fans that he gave me with the case. He sent me an Amazon link to get new screws. It was only like $6. He did list it as like new. The condition of the case was like new, but it didn't have all the parts. And it was a little dusty. The air filter on the front of the case did have a hole in it. Right next to it, there was a hot glue smudge that I couldn't get out. I got the new screws and they come in tomorrow. The next day. So the new screws for my fans arrived. So far, I have a PSU, an SSD, and a motherboard coming in on eBay. They should be here before May 1st, which is in about a week. I'm still trying to find some RAM and a GPU. The GPU I'm trying to get is the RX 6600 XT. And I'm also looking for 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. It's very difficult with the 2026 RAM prices. With the CPU and case out the way, I needed the GPU, motherboard, RAM, a PSU, and an SSD. After days of deal hunting on eBay, I finally ordered all the parts. Minus the GPU, I had to get that off Facebook Marketplace because I couldn't find a good deal on eBay. The motherboard I got didn't come with Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, so I had to buy an extra PCIe card for that. I also got another monitor for my setup, so now it's dual monitor, and this is me putting it up. So all my pieces arrived except for my GPU, and I decided to put my motherboard together, put it in the case, and do all the wiring, and put my GPU in last. Little did I know it would not be that simple because there was still more money to spend. So the first thing I put in was the CPU, and that was pretty simple. You just put it in, wiggle it around a little bit until it falls into place, and then clamp it shut. Next up was RAM, which was also quite simple. You just line it up into the dedicated slots, push it down until it clicks in place, and then you're done. Now this is where I encountered my first problem. So with the M.2 storage, you clamp it into place, you push it down, and then you're supposed to screw it in. But since the motherboard is used, it didn't come with any of the screws that it needed. After that, I then realized that I need screws to screw the motherboard onto the case, which I also didn't have. And then, after the video ended, I tried putting on my CPU cooler, just to realize that didn't have all the screws that it needed. Around $35 later, I ended up buying a whole new CPU cooler on Amazon and all of the screws I need. This new CPU cooler does have RGB though, which is an upgrade. And they should be here tomorrow for me to finally build it. Without the graphics card, of course.
The next day.
So now I can finally get to the build. I screwed in the SSD off camera because I forgot to hit the record button, but it was only like 3 seconds long, so not much was missed. So right here, I took out my new CPU cooler. I needed some nut screws because I didn't have the ones the motherboard came with. So here I had just finished screwing in the bracket holders for the cooler, and now I was gonna put the brackets on. So I put the brackets on and it was time for the thermal paste. I put a P-shaped amount and was trying to spread it out, but that went terribly. So I spread it with my finger, which turned my whole finger gray, and it was hard to get out. So I just decided to apply a whole bunch of thermal paste. That way, it'll cover the whole thing since it's so much. And then I don't have to worry if it spread it all the way through. So after I put the thermal paste on, I screwed in the brackets and secured them. And then I put the CPU cooler on. Then I picked it up and shook it just to make sure that it was screwed on tight. And then I connected the fan to the cooler. Next up was putting that motherboard into the case. There's these things called standoffs that connect the motherboard to the case, which were essentially screw holes to screw the motherboard in. My motherboard didn't come with them, but the PC screw kit that I bought did have them. So after I put all the standoffs in, it was time to put the motherboard into the case. I lined up the holes in the motherboard with the standoffs. I screwed it in off camera because the camera that I was recording on kept falling over. I also moved this fan to the right because I thought it looked better since the CPU cooler was blocking it where it used to be. Now since the motherboard was in place and we don't have the graphics card yet, next thing to do was to plug everything in and give it power. I started with daisy chaining the fans together and then plugging them all in. And then I plugged the power supply in and putting the plugs into the motherboard. And then I plugged all the plugs from the front panel in. The USB-C plug did not have a slot in the motherboard that I got because the motherboard was kind of old. And then after I plugged everything in, I moved on to cable management. And then when that was over, I went to check if it would turn on and work. And it worked on the first try. Then I was basically done. All I had to do was plug in the graphics card when it came and then it would work. So then I moved the PC to my setup and here it is. have to put this project on pause till the graphics card comes in, which could be any day from tomorrow to a week from now. But for you guys, it's just one cut away.
One eternity later.
My mouse pad also came in, so I set that up too. The next thing to do was set up my BIOS for Windows installation. And I ran into another problem here because the SSD I bought was not working. So then I went and returned it and bought a different one, and I'm waiting for that one to come in right now.
3 days later.
So after returning it, I put all of the money into a gift card so I get it back instantly, and then I bought a new one right away, so it only took 3 days to come. And now the PC was finally ready to install Windows. So I went through all the agreements and stuff, and then it started installing. And words could not explain how happy I was at this moment. Keep in mind, it's been like a month since I started looking for parts and ordering them. And while we were on these last few steps, I was thinking about how my project was finally coming to an end. So after all the troubleshooting and problems that we went through because we got mostly used stuff, it was finally over and I could just enjoy having a PC. And there it was, the Windows icon. I answered all the basic startup questions, and then I had to connect to internet, but I didn't have my Wi-Fi drivers installed yet. So I searched up what to do off camera, and I found a code for the command prompt that lets you start up the Windows without having Wi-Fi. I installed my drivers off of camera, and this is what my home screen looked like. And then I started setting up my second monitor. Then I downloaded the rest of the drivers that I needed, a few apps, and I did the background, RGB control, and this is what it looked like. That marks the end of the video. Like and subscribe so I can build more PCs.